Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hi.
How's it going, Finn?
It's going.
We're in an even more empty room this episode.
We're moving tomorrow. So we've packed up a lot of things. Hold on, let me turn this more towards me.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Awesome. I'm just opening a Gatorade here. Sorry if it's a little bit noisy. Oh shit, that's some good shit. Alright. Now that we got our introduction out of the way, this is the second episode of our hit podcast.
Episode. Hold on, let me turn.
How well did our last video do? Let's take a look here. Let's go to my YouTube. I haven't checked in a few days, so I'm sure we got a bunch of awesome.
I'm sure we did. Many people, I'm sure,
views.
wanted to watch us talk about or listen to us talk about the Academy Award nominations.
22 views 5 days ago. That's pretty great. 6 likes, 0 comments. So we're back.
Can you look at the watch, how long people watched it for?
That one I can do on my phone. I think when I saw it, it was like 2 minutes.
And I listened to the whole thing.
I know a few people who listened to the whole thing.
Weird.
I know.
Who listened to the whole thing?
Dane did. Olivia did, I'm pretty sure. Because she messaged me and was like, thanks for talking about touchdown. I was like, no worries.
No worries, homie. She asked me to do a letter of recommendation for her.
Really?
For like a college prep thing, I guess. I don't know what
Strange.
it
Is that even legal for you to do?
I don't know. I'm 18, so I don't know.
You should do it.
I'm gonna. I'm like, as long as, because I don't know how useful my letter of recommendation would be to her.
Not at all.
It's like, as long as you want me to do it, I'm willing to, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's the big news.
Let's just get into
Our
it.
second big news is that Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on Thursday. Last Thursday. Today's the following Tuesday.
That's what you really want to
It's going to go up on Wednesday. Yeah, well, that's going to be the main subject of this, is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I don't care. I watched it. We watched it. Mm-hmm. You, me, and your girlfriend, Abby.
That's true.
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, I have kind of an introduction lined up here. I have a lot of notes.
Okay.
Let's talk about our opinions on Zack Snyder, the controversy surrounding this movie, the release of the Snyder Cut movement, as well as our opinions on the previous DC Zack Snyder movies.
Sure.
Including the Justice League. The theatrical cut.
Yes.
Zack Snyder generally I don't like.
Yeah, no.
As a guy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like Man of Steel or Batman vs. Superman. I think he is genuinely, like, just a chill dude.
I think he's a nice man.
Yeah.
I think he's stupid.
I really have nothing against, like, him as a person. As a filmmaker, I don't think he should have the freedom. That's probably my biggest problem with this movie, is how much freedom he was given with, like, such beloved property to just, like, do whatever. And he's been doing it. Like, making Superman, like, a terrorist.
Man of Steel
horrible.
Is the most egregious of the three in terms of completely misinterpreting a comic book character.
But it's also like, if someone deserved any freedom even close to that when it comes to like creating like the DC universe, it should not be Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder just he doesn't have a deep appreciation of these characters. He likes them on a surface level. He likes that Superman has all the powers. When the powers are the least interesting thing about Superman.
Yeah.
He likes the clip I always point out, and nobody talked about it when it happened, but it was DC Fandom, the big like online event last year. They interviewed him, and he was asked who his favorite superhero was, and he said Dr. Manhattan, who is a Watchmen character. And Zack Snyder directed the film adaptation of Watchmen. And Watchmen is like one of the best books ever written. Not just comic books, but like Time magazine named it one of the 100 best books of,
Really?
of the 20th century. Like,
Wow.
it is an incredibly good novel. And Dr. Manhattan is representative of the fears of, like, nuclear war and how, like, and how nuclear war and nuclear weapons can basically just turn a country into a superpower and can ruin everything in the world, and it's like the most terrifying thing ever. And Zack Snyder says Dr. Manhattan is his favorite superhero because he's cool and quantum.
Wow.
And he made the Watchmen movie. Like, it's not just a guy who thinks that for some reason. It's the guy who made the Watchmen movie.
The thing is, Zack
and it's
Snyder,
apparent if you watch it.
Zack Snyder seems to be every single one of his fans, which are just like dumb people.
Dumb people who like the surface level.
That's the bottom line, is
And
that they
think
are
it's
just dumb. Like, I don't know any other way to put
The
it.
Snyder Cut movement, if you talk to any of the people involved in it,
Well,
they're
it's
not
just-
intelligent
no,
people who know
and
what
they're
they're talking
so,
about.
like, they're just, like, there's so much hatred behind the
That
movement, too. It's, like, it came not from, like, we want to see the director's vision, but, like a DC has to be better than Marvel. We'll take anything we can get to try and paint it that way. It's fine to admit that Marvel's better when it comes to movies.
I don't know if they believe that. I think they've tricked themselves into thinking that it's not. That Marvel's not better. I think they
have.
may have at one
Have you
point.
seen the posts about this one? They're like, this is 10 times better than
That's what I'm saying.
Endgame. Like,
I think
that's
they've tricked
complete
themselves.
bullshit.
I think they legitimately at this point believe that Zack Snyder is better than, like, Kevin Feige in the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I really think they believe that about them, about the DC universe, and it's terrifying, cause it's so much. I mean, if you look at, I don't know, what's a good Marvel movie? What's a mid Marvel movie from the last couple of years? Black Panther.
Sure.
Let's say Black Panther.
People love
Falls
that one.
apart in the third act, just like a Zack Snyder movie. Significantly better on almost every level.
Well, it comes down to writing of the characters.
Exactly.
Is really what it's about.
It's a very similar thing. It's a philosophical movie that takes the concept of superheroes and tries to apply real world politics to it.
Yeah.
And then falls apart in the third act and just becomes stupid, dumb, bad CGI action. But it's a way better movie because those things are all executed in a way that flows better and works as a whole.
Well, also, technically, I think the Marvel movies are done better. Like, this movie looked horrible.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting really out of the plan, but if we can absolutely talk about the visuals.
It's so bad. The choice to do it in that aspect ratio.
The aspect ratio is the prime Zack Snyder. I have an idea.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Wouldn't it be cool?
But
no
it
other thought put
serves
into
like
it.
no purpose to the story.
Exactly.
And it's kind of just like
it's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Something like The Lighthouse has I don't know if it's 4x3 exactly.
It
is.
Yeah.
The Lighthouse is
say.
claustrophobic and old-timey.
Yeah.
And that is the vibe you get from the thing. It's narrowing, it's smaller.
It's built to set the time period.
Exactly.
Is what
and
it's
it benefits the movie.
Sure.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is this, like, big, epic, contemporary movie done in the style of a tiny, claustrophobic 1800s horror movie with two characters.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, well, I had mentioned, like, when the movie starts, like, it feels like you're watching, like, a pirated copy of the movie. Because of, like, how, like I used to pirate, like, Scooby-Doo movies offline, and they'd be in that aspect ratio, and there'd be, like, you're just not feeling like you're seeing the entire image. You're like, this is, it's horrible, and it angers me a lot. A lot of the technical decisions. I mean, that man is so bad at lighting.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
I will say, I wanted to talk about our expectations and all of that. My expectations going in were very mixed because I don't like Zack Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
I've grown to really dislike him. But I don't mind Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I have mixed feelings on that as a movie. I think there are a lot of really cool ideas in it. And it falls apart in the last act. I think Zack Snyder is a nice guy who deserved to make the movie. You know, if they were going to hire him to make the movie, he deserved to make the movie. And not, you know, what they did in terms of taking him away from,
that was
you know,
not
because his daughter, you know, committed suicide. That's a terrible, terrible thing. And the Warner Brothers executives who did that should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know, losing their job, that's another thing that's not a call.
Did they lose their job?
I don't remember. I don't know. Huh. But I'm sure somebody did. Joss Whedon did.
Yeah.
But I think that's good that he got his movie released. Good for him. But I don't like him, and I don't want to see his movie. And I didn't like any of the stuff he had been promoting it with. But then when it came out, it got pretty good reviews, like 76 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. And it's like, okay, I want to say a lot of those reviews are just like, well, we feel bad for Zack Snyder. You know, the Hollywood critics.
That was the vibe that I was getting. I read some of the Rotten Tomato reviews, actually, and they seem very kind of like passive about the movie.
They're kind of like, it was good, it was better.
Yeah, a lot of like, it was better, and it was, like, I heard a lot of like, typical Zack Snyder action, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it will please the Zack Snyder fans, which is what was said about the Batman v Superman movie in all those negative reviews that got it at 26% because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But my expectations were very mixed, but I was optimistic. I didn't want those 4 hours of my life to be, like, miserable. I was not prepared for how bad Zack Snyder's Justice League was going to be.
I heard it was 4 hours long, and I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. And I've been pretty much right about every movie, like, for the past year and a half without seeing them. And I was like, this one's going to suck the most, but I have to watch it because my brother is holding me hostage. And then I watched it, and it was bad.
It was, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I don't say this about just every movie. Mm. I'm not exaggerating. This might be the worst movie I've ever seen. It's so offensive to watch. Like not as in, like they say racist things.
No.
But as in, like, I'm spending my time watching this. Why are you doing this? It
certainly does not. A lot of it is just not necessary. Even, like, on, like, a fan service level, it still doesn't connect to, like, the plot.
No.
All the, like, thrown in. Oh my god, that last, like, 20 minutes.
The last
so
20 minutes
hard to get through.
Is the worst thing ever because it's end credit scenes that are framed as the end of the movie.
Bad as the Joker. He's gotta stop. He can't be hired anymore.
He cannot do it.
He got his Oscar. Go away. We're done, Jared.
He's Morbius now. In the Spider-Man, in Sony's universe of Marvel characters, which is the official title of the Sony Marvel universe. He's going to cross over with Venom. Michael Keaton is the Vulture in the Morbius movie with Jared Leto that takes place in the same universe as Venom.
Interesting.
I don't know what it means. Because it was supposed to come out, like, last June or something, and then it got delayed a million times. Now it's coming out in, like, October. After Venom 2, which it wasn't supposed to originally. But,
are they doing anything with Carnage?
Venom 2 is
There Will Be
Carnage or something like that, yeah. Because Woody Harrelson, I think, is Carnage, which is terrible casting.
So dumb at the end of that.
Well, yeah, they just like threw a wig on him, and they were like, "We gotta film this end credit scene. It can be literally anything. Just say Carnage."
Carnage. He looks like He looks like Woody Harrelson.
It's the Venom 2 is being directed by Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
Back to Justice League.
Yeah, sorry, Justice League. It is so bad. I will also go on record as saying that the theatrical cut of Justice League is my least favorite DC Extended Universe movie. It's by far the most tolerable DC movie.
Yeah.
Like, compared to, like,
I would agree.
Aquaman,
Yeah.
which is offensive.
I didn't even hate
like,
Justice League that much when I first saw it.
I thought it was fine. It did feel like a Zack Snyder movie that Joss Whedon tried to repurpose into something watchable, but Joss Whedon is talented.
Yeah.
And good at making, maybe he's a dick, because
Yeah,
all the controversy, whatever. But he's he's made tons of good stuff.
He's just
for, like, decades.
He just, like, he understands, like, superheroes better.
And basic storytelling things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
But also just, like, having a bit of fun with the characters made the first Justice League so much better than this one. But
the first thing, as soon as you say that, Zack Snyder fans go, you just like stupid Marvel movies, you want trash.
No.
And well, I know that that's not the case, but Zack Snyder fans believe that fun in movies, when Zack Snyder's not directing it, fun in superhero movies is for stupid people.
No.
And they have to be dark and take things seriously.
No, that's... I know you're not actually arguing with it, but like, those characters weren't written to be ultra serious all the time.
Superman is the most light-hearted superhero.
Yeah.
More so than any other superhero that there is. Maybe Plastic Man. But Plastic Man's like a rapist. Like, Plastic Man's like a dick.
Oh.
So, like, not even him. Like, Howard the Duck? But Howard the Duck fucks. Like, Superman is just cheery guy who is super nice to everyone.
And I guess Snyder fans will also argue the point that, like, Flash was the comic relief in this movie, except none of the jokes Ezra Miller makes are funny.
Well,
they're all very clearly improv, and they're just, like,
I don't know if they are.
Dude.
I don't know if they are.
Oh, they felt improv.
I can picture, like Zack Snyder or his buddy or
that
whatever
fucking
writing those
first
lines
introduction scene for him.
Can we just talk about that?
That is horrible improv. Like, when he's walking in, that's fucking improv.
Yes. Well, it's ADR, too. I want to just take a minute with that scene, because it's... The Red Letter Media review of this movie came out. It's like an hour.
I didn't get there. I'm still watching.
I watched the whole thing. I was like, hopefully these guys... Because I for the last week now, since I watched the movie, or not the last week, but the last couple days, I have felt like a crazy person. Because it's so bad. And people that I follow, like meme accounts and stuff, but people that weren't excited about it, people that thought Zack Snyder's trash and have no reason to, like, lie and say, like, oh, Zack Snyder, they liked it. Mm. And everybody that I follow is saying, like, this is actually really good. And I'm like, crazy. That's insane. But the Red Letter Media review came out, and I was like, they will reject it. They hate Batman v Superman. They hate Man of Steel. They barely tolerated the theatrical cut. They will not like this movie. It was called Half and the Worst. Mike says, welcome to Best of the Worst at the beginning of it, in reference to Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it was really good. And they talk about how it was really good for an hour, and Jay Bauman calls the introductory Flash scene the best scene in the movie. It's one of the worst scenes I've ever seen shot.
Well, it's just so horribly paced is the problem.
It starts with maybe the worst establishment of a character being, like, consistently late. Because Barry Allen's a stupid character. I don't like Barry Allen. I don't care about the Flash, generally. His shtick is, he's usually late to work until he gets really fast, and now he's the Flash. Like, that's... Like Batman is like an orphan who, like, went through this sad thing and became Batman. Flash is, he is late to work, now he's the Flash. And they wrote, like, a sad origin story for him in, like, 2011. Yeah. But that wasn't always his thing. Normally he's just, like, he was late, now he's the Flash. So, like, the establishment of that in this movie is hard cut to Barry Allen walking into a pet shop.
A dog care center.
And he's going. There's terrible ADR of him going, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. So you know he's late.
He sounds like he's on a drug or something. Yeah. He looks like he's on a drug. And then he looks like he's out of his mind.
And then he bumps into Iris West, who's not named. She's just lady.
No, she's just there, and you don't know who she is.
And then he goes in, and he starts mocking an old woman. He's like, penny, nickel, dime, penny, nickel, dime, penny, and the lady's like, shut up.
He does. He's tweaking.
And she's like, where's your resume? And he's like, resume, the past participle of. And it's like, what does that mean? And he pulls out a crumpled piece of paper. And I'm like, you've immediately set him up as the least likable human being alive on the face of the planet. From the outset, the least, the worst person I can imagine. And it's like, that's the best scene in the movie to you? And I started thinking about it, and it's so much easier. Take what you wrote and write a completely different scene where he is sitting at a bus stop, tapping his foot. He's going fast with his foot. Maybe like a lightning thing. He stops himself, checks his watch, something like that. The bus shows up. He's like, oh, thank God. And this old woman gets in front of him and starts counting the change, and instead of it being your likable character is now mocking an old woman for being slow at counting cash, or counting change, it's an obstacle has come in front of this person who needs to get to work. And that's how you introduce him. And then he gets to work and he's like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I got held up at the bus. And then the lady is a bitch to him, and then it's like, okay, we're on his side. But instead you have him walk in going, I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. This old lady, she stopped me and she was going penny, nickel, dime, penny, nickel, dime, penny, nickel. The resume, the past participle. And it's terrible. It's like, what is this? And then a car accident happens outside and we see him be the Flash for the first time.
Well, it's a very extended sequence of the dude reaching for his burger.
Yeah. And then Iris West, who is not named, but I know that because I heard about casting news outside of the movie 3 years ago, and so general audiences are expected to know this, I guess. But she gets into a car accident, and he runs out as the Flash, and it's this slow motion sequence, and it's playing this dramatic love song, and he touches her hair in a creepy way, and then grabs a hot dog out of the air and pockets that, which is a joke, but it's not a scene that's executed as a jokey scene.
Well, then it actually comes into play, the hot dog.
It does, in a way that I don't care. But he pockets the hot dog.
Yeah.
And then he rescues her, and then the car in the background, because all the visual effects in this movie are terrible, flips over like it's a Hot Wheel. It's just all of a sudden it does 10 flips in a millisecond,
and then
explodes in a fire, and he's looking at her, and then he zips back inside, and I guess she didn't tell anyone. But it's what was the tone of that scene then? That whole sequence, what was the tone of it? Because it starts
there's a lot of that
icky,
in the movie.
and then it becomes lovey, but then funny, but then lovey and explosion, because there's got to be an explosion. The car can't just get into a wreck. It has to erupt. As cars do. Unprompted.
Yeah.
It flipped over. It didn't, hit a gas line or something.
No.
But it erupts into a giant explosion. And then he zips back in and he feeds a dog a hot dog and he goes, I always carry a meat snack on me in case dogs are in distress. When do I start? And it's ha 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 ha. It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my whole life. I hate this movie so much. And I'm a DC fan. DC or Marvel, I pick DC easily every time.
I just don't care, really. So, I didn't have, such a difficult time with this movie. I just thought of it as, a giant waste of my 4 hours of my weekend that I had off. It's bad.
It is. I mean, it's...
But I can't say I hated everything.
Well, I can't say I hated everything because I liked 2 things.
Steppenwolf is so much
villain.
Better in this one.
That is the one big improvement from this one over the theatrical cut. Because in the theatrical cut, to me, a villain who's just a bad guy wants to take over the world. That's enough. I'm not saying he's great, but it didn't bother me when the movie was about these 6 characters that had things to do.
Yeah.
Unlike in this movie when Batman and Wonder Woman don't do anything the whole movie.
Yes.
In the theatrical cut, they had
and they're
arcs
somehow still the best
characters.
characters.
Well, yeah. But they had arcs and characters and like things going on in the theatrical cut, and so like I didn't mind that Steppenwolf was a bland villain because that wasn't the focus. But in this 4-hour movie, when you have the time to flesh out that character, great. I'm glad they did it, and he worked. I like the because he wants to go back home to his boss. I guess we should say, because we haven't gotten into super spoilers yet, we should say that this is going to be all spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
But I think now's as good a time as any to just say that. But Steppenwolf wants to go back home. Which is not, I don't think that's his typical interpretation in the comics. I don't think that's really what he does usually. But I thought it worked. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was neat. I felt bad for him, but not in a way where I was like, the Justice League shouldn't kill him, because he did plenty of bad things. He was very scary. He did big battles. He's the best looking visual effect in the movie. He looks great consistently.
Yeah.
But I still wanted the Justice League to beat him, even though I did feel sympathy and understood where he was coming from, which is the best kind of villain. So that's good. That was a big positive. And then I think the other big thing that people are talking about is Cyborg and the Flash as characters. And they definitely had arcs.
They did. I
think they were mismanaged. One, I mean, that initial Flash scene is so offensive to watch. It's so annoying that I couldn't get past it. But
I think that Cyborg should not have been as main of a character as he was. Strictly because I don't think Ray Fisher has the range to pull off what they were really going for. Every time he acts emotional, which is basically his whole thing, because he's very
he's the down and dour
yeah,
one. More so than Batman.
It comes off
which
as
is weird for Cyborg.
It comes off as cringy and whenever I saw him on screen, I was just like, that's an actor who's being paid to be here.
He's not very
not
captivating.
Convincing.
He's not very interesting to watch.
No.
He's covered in CGI for most of it. Terrible CGI.
Yeah,
Cyborg looked like shit.
Yeah.
He moved very unnaturally, and he was awful. And Ray Fisher in real life is such a... I don't want to get into it too much, but he's a very annoying and negative presence on social media, and he doesn't... For an actor who's not had a career... and who is... He's basically just consistently, on a regular basis, begging Warner Brothers to make sure he never works in Hollywood again. He got fired from the Flash movie. He was going to be in the Flash movie. Through Joss Whedon's firing, through all the petitioning that he did, he was still going to be in the Flash movie. And then he kept hammering the current head of DC Films, Walter Hamada, who has been a comic book author or artist, I don't remember, for
Yeah.
years. And he keeps saying that guy needs to go and Jeff Johns needs to go. And they're we're just not... Joss Whedon's not going to work again. At least not for a very long time.
Yeah.
You've won. Now you need to focus on something positive and making something out of your career. Which you can still do. But he kept hammering it. And he kept being incredibly negative and annoying on social media, to the point of, and I understand that, what he went through maybe was bad. I don't think he was, I mean, when you look at, what women in the 90s went through with, Harvey Weinstein or something like that, Joss Whedon being kind of a dick doesn't really feel like it's that big of a thing to complain about. So just relatively speaking, it's just okay, he faced punishment, move on. And so all that real life stuff, I don't know how much it affected the way I watched his performance in the movie. Because to me, he just seemed like an annoying whiner.
Yeah.
Because being Cyborg is cool. And he survived a car accident. And like,
yeah, that's another thing. He's like not thankful for his dad for like
he's
saving
very mad at his
life.
dad, and he's like, "This is a gift." But his arc is learning that it actually is a gift, and that's good. I thought a big problem with him is that so much of his arc was done through expository flashbacks, which there are a lot of in this movie generally, but especially with Cyborg, there were 2 or 3. Yeah, because he did that whole thing where he was like back in the Nazi camp,
thing, and then the
football thing, and then the Nazis finding the mother box, and all that shit, and there was so much of that. But then like when a character moment happened as a result of the plot, which again spoilers, Cyborg's dad dies.
It's in
at
the
like
trailer.
that's true. At like the act 2 low point right around there,
but also that.
They really rushed the aftermath of that.
I felt like his death was also very rushed. Like everything was happening very quickly.
It was fairly rushed, but I mean it got built up to an extent. Like Steppenwolf was like breaking in, and then the dad ran the little machine and he closed all the things. And then Steppenwolf came in and killed him, and Cyborg watched it. Or no, Steppenwolf didn't come in and kill him. He exploded in like slow motion, and Cyborg watched
do something with the mother box.
To heat up the mother box so that when Steppenwolf took it, they could trace the heat and find where Steppenwolf's hideout was.
Oh, okay.
Which, when it happened, I was like, why did he do that? And then they answered it, and I was like, okay. But basically that happens. He dies. And then Cyborg, like, slumps up against a wall, and the Justice League comes in, and Flash says something. And then Cyborg's like, oh my god, my dad did this. Let's go fight Steppenwolf. And it's like, oh, that's it? That's all the moment you had to take to grieve your father?
Cyborg? And their only real moment
in this
before
4-hour movie, that's the only moment you take.
The only real moment before that is when they have like their first fight with Steppenwolf, where his dad was like taken hostage with the rest of the people, and they just kind of like nod at each other, Cyborg and his dad, after the whole thing, and like I knew you'd come. And he's like, yep, and then that's it. Like they never have like a scene where they talk.
Yeah,
or like
he's like you're
my
hero.
I'm so thankful for you, Dad. Like I'm so sorry for everything about Mom and all that. Like there's no character there.
That is the sequence that I want. That's another one that the difference between the theatrical and this one is night and day as far as I'm concerned. The best moment in the theatrical cut of Justice League, the best moment, is now confirmed. It's a Joss Whedon idea. Flash says, and lots of fans have made fun of this because it's a jokey line. Flash says tons of jokey lines in the Snyder Cut, but it's not allowed in this. They're all terrible. None of them are funny. But in this, in the theatrical cut, he goes, because they're about to fight a space god, and Flash is a guy. Cyborg is a robot who's like faced death and is like whatever and wants to save his father and knows what a mother box is. Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, they're warriors. They know what they're doing. Flash is a dude. He's just a guy. And he goes, Batman, I just shove people and run away because nobody can catch up to me. Like, I've never been in a fight before. What do I do? And Batman goes, save one person. And Flash is like, then what? And he's like, you'll know what to do. And then Flash saves Cyborg's dad and looks at him for a moment and goes and runs away and saves more people.
That's a good one.
And that's a moment between characters where Batman, because his arc in the theatrical cut is learning to be a leader and actually like lead a team and work with others, which is what Batman's arc should be in a movie like this. Instead of just kind of, I don't know, we should get a Justice League together. And then he does. And that's his arc in the Snyder Cut.
Well, that's a really great example of, like, using both dialogue and visual storytelling to get a point across.
Exactly,
Because you have the dialogue between Batman and Flash, and then all you need is that one look, and you know exactly what Flash is thinking. Like, wow, helping people is really a great
It's
feeling.
a rewarding thing, and it's something, and it's smart to do, and it's also using Flash to maximum effect. Because in this movie, all the people get rescued. Flash kind of, like, opens a door, and everybody runs out.
There's, like, stairs, and he's like, everyone good? You gotta get faster. You gotta get up faster.
Is that true?
He keeps saying that. You guys gotta move faster. And then Cyborg's dad, like, we're moving fine. And I'm like, okay.
I don't remember.
That's a real thing, I'm pretty sure, unless I fucking died while watching it.
So, he just, like, you, like, passed out and just envisioned the scene. It's so bad. The movie sucks.
Yeah.
But then, in that same sequence, that's the part where Flash, there's the really epic slow motion part where Flash runs down a thing and touches the sword to send it into Wonder Woman's hand, and then she just lands on the ground and loses her sword
that
and
was
picks
so
it up
fucking
again.
stupid.
It's like 10
just
minutes
let the sword
dedicated
fall
to him
and then,
putting the sword in her hand, and then she just falls on the ground and picks it up again. Like, she was just gonna fall on the ground anyway.
Yeah.
Why? Like, why?
It's
To
just
pad
a
that
bunch
running
of
time
nonsense.
with 4 hours.
It just didn't need to
It's
be
just
4
shit.
hours.
I think had he, I still think it would have sucked, but had he been allowed to release his version of the movie in 2017, they would have had an editor come in and trim it up.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have released a 4
I don't
hour
even
movie.
think that any of the Lois Lane stuff before Superman comes back to life is necessary at all.
This is one of, I'm saying everything is, but this is one of the worst things about the movie. One of the worst scenes in the movie. Because it's arguably the best scene in the movie is when Martha Kent comes and visits Lois Lane.
But it's not Martha
and
Kent?
they have a great conversation.
Yeah.
A wonderful conversation. And it's like emotional. Martha Kent's a great character. Lois Lane is a great character. They chat about what it's like to be basically Superman supporting characters post Superman, like once he's dead. What is it like to live your life knowing that guy and having known who he really was?
Sure.
And the whole world is mourning him and all that. And it's such a great emotional scene. And then Martha Kent walks out and she turns into a Martian.
Which doesn't come back until, like, the very end.
And it's not a setup. Like,
it's
like,
also
if you're
not
gonna
set
put that
up, though.
in the middle of the movie. First of all, now that she's a Martian, that whole scene is ruined. All the emotions of that scene, completely invalid because Martha Kent isn't Martha
actually
Kent.
there?
But also, if you're gonna set up Martian Manhunter halfway through the movie, he's a core Justice Leaguer. You have 6 Justice League members. The Justice League is usually 7. Why doesn't Martian Manhunter show up in the finale of the movie?
Also, make it clear that it's Martian Manhunter. Because he turns into Martian Manhunter for, like, a split second, and then turns into,
Well,
like...
they do a big reveal shot of Martian Manhunter.
I know, but then he turns into, like, a black military dude.
Who was in Man of Steel, but nobody would remember that.
I
because
remember
nobody...
that.
Oh, really?
I actually remembered him,
God.
but I was like, why?
I would not have had I not heard about all the... Because I hear about...
Okay.
Zack Snyder
I actually remembered him. He looked familiar.
But he was in Man of Steel. He was just some guy in Man
Yeah.
of Steel. He didn't do anything of any significance. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Man of Steel. It's been almost a decade.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Saw that with Daniel Neary, right?
Maybe.
I think we did.
Why don't we say his full name?
Daniel Neary. Follow him on Instagram.
Nah. Anyway. Can you cut that?
No.
Okay.
I'll stay it in.
It's all staying in. No editing on the podcast.
I don't feel like it.
Wonder Woman's a non-character. Aquaman's a non-character.
Yeah.
You liked Batman, though.
I just like Ben Affleck as Batman.
I like him. I felt like he wasn't very Batman-y in this.
I think he was...
They nailed him in Batman v Superman.
They did.
He was great in that. This is not...
Superman was also pretty good in Batman vs. Superman.
Of the Snyder 3...
Those are the best.
Batman v Superman is definitely the best movie, and it's also definitely the best Superman.
Mm.
If you include the theatrical cut, I love Henry Cavill in that movie.
Yes.
I mean, even with the mustache thing,
Whatever, yeah.
kind of distracting, but you get over it. I mean, it's a 2-hour movie or whatever. You get over it.
Yeah.
He's so charming, and that's another moment that's way better in the original than in this one. In the original, when Superman steps into the fight with Steppenwolf, because he's not there initially, in the theatrical cut, he gets a one-liner. He gets a big entrance. In this, he just kind of shows up and goes, not impressed. And then he fights Steppenwolf. In the theatrical cut, Steppenwolf says something like, you all have to face the truth. And then Superman shows up and he goes, I'm a fan of truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice. And then he punches Steppenwolf across the room, and it's awesome. It's classic Superman, and it's great. Why isn't that in the movie? Why does he have a black suit? Why would Superman becoming Superman again?
He's got to wear that classic outfit.
He's got to become Superman again.
They also fucked up his outfit, like from the start of these movies.
Oh, the Henry Cavill Superman suit is terrible.
It's so bad
because it's muted and like
so is
Batman and gross. Batman's outfit looked way better in Batman v Superman.
The armor one is fine, but in this one he's wearing like the whole.
I like the concept
of
the spandex one. It's very Dark Knight Returns, which is not my favorite Batman book, but the look of Batman in it is cool.
I don't know. Or what's his name? Ben Affleck is also very like bloated.
Well, he looks like what he was at the time, which was an alcoholic man who was getting a divorce.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was not a good time for Ben Affleck in his real life at that point,
Sure.
and you know, it shows in the movie. He looks great. There's like 2 scenes that they reshot with him in it, and he looks significantly better in those scenes.
You can
the
tell.
scene at the end where he gets out of bed and he's like talking to Martian Manhunter, that was apparently a reshoot, I think. And he like looks cleaned up and nice and good.
I like Ben Affleck.
I love him.
I wish him the best.
Yeah, he's good in Dogma. He's great in Dogma. I like him generally, and I like him as Batman. I think he could be a good Batman if given the right material. I would have loved... There was a time... Nobody talks about it anymore, but there was a time when the Matt Reeves Batman movie with Robert Pattinson was going to be Matt Reeves taking over the Ben Affleck Batman project, and then it grew into its own thing.
Interesting.
But I would have loved to see Matt Reeves direct a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
Someone will do a deep fake of it.
Maybe. But I don't think it would work. With Robert Pattinson, I just don't think they're swappable
I don't know.
actors.
I love Robert Pattinson.
I do too. I'm very excited for that movie. That's another thing is people are saying like restore the Snyderverse.
No.
Stop. First of all, nobody wants some idiots do, but nobody whose opinion I respect wants the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad.
Oh. God.
and
That could be worse than the Justice League Snyder cut.
It could be.
Oh my God, that movie was so bad.
Suicide Squad is the worst. Well, I dislike Aquaman more.
Yeah. Is that my girl? Yeah, that's your girl, Joker.
You don't want no beef. You don't want no beef. You don't want no beef. You don't want no beef.
It's so uncomfortable.
It is one of the worst things.
It's like probably the worst edited movie.
And there are like deleted. They did the ultimate cut.
Yeah, they already released them.
and it had worse scenes in it. Like the scenes that were cut should have been.
Mm-hmm.
This is Katana. She's got my back.
I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
I wonder how much James Gunn's Suicide Squad is gonna.
I hope it's
struggle with the casting from the first one, because Jai Courtney's gonna be in it.
That's good. I liked him.
I thought he was fine, yeah. But Joel Kinnaman is gonna be in it.
I don't know who that is.
This is Katana.
Oh,
that guy is back.
That's
Viola
dope.
Davis is a good actress, so
Yeah,
I guess she'll
whatever.
probably be in there. And Margot Robbie's back, and I think that's
Woo!
everybody.
Margot.
He didn't bring Jared Leto back for some reason.
What? You gotta be shitting.
I don't understand.
He was so good.
He was so great.
God, that scene is so poorly shot. Just whoever is the cinematographer on these movies is just so bad. Like I don't know if it's Zack Snyder or the cinematographer who like chooses to never use a fill light ever. But like,
are you close enough to your mic?
They only have key lights, dude. Like It seems like there's like a force that's like, you can't use a fucking fill light. One side of their face has to be completely dark.
It is like you can't see their faces.
There's no balance. All you have to turn, like, I can't imagine being on a set and like not checking your light balance before shooting. Like, it's like one button away.
Well, it's like half their face is covered in shadow, and then they color grade it so that their entire face is not able to be seen.
Yeah.
And then, Flash does an entire joke out of focus in the background. Yeah. He says, it's a group shot of the Justice League, but Batman's in the foreground, and Flash is in the background, and he's out of focus, and he says an entire joke from start to finish without them focusing on him. Mm. What you do is you do I don't know the terminology, but you focus on the background, and then you pull the focus to the foreground. Focus. Yes.
Rack focus.
It's in every movie.
I bought a $40 thing that can do that. Like, that's not like, we need special equipment, we don't have it right now. Like, it's like anyone can get their hands on it. It's not a hard... You can do it without equipment. You just can... Like, people all the time just mark where you need to move it to and then shoot it. Like, it's not difficult.
Yeah. It's so insane to me.
Oh, and by the whole lighting thing, in case you might not know, like, what a fill and a key light is basically, like, when you're lighting a scene, you have a light in the background to light up your background. And then you have a key light and a fill light, and sometimes there's a fourth light, depends on what you're doing. But the key light is your main source of light. It goes on the right or the left, and it's pretty powerful light. It's going to be giving you most of the lighting on the character. But with using just the key light, it casts a lot of shadows on the other side of the face.
Of course.
So you use like a little bit less of a bright light called a fill light to kind of fill in the light and balance out the face. There's none of it in this movie. It's so bad, bro.
And then the visual effects, like aspect ratio, cinematography, the lighting, the focus, and then the visual effects
they just feel rushed.
Are so bad.
Mm-hmm. I saw someone post like this scene gave me goosebumps, and it was like Darkseid looking through the portal at them.
Yeah, people are saying that that's like a bad...
It looks so horrible.
Yeah, he doesn't look great. Steppenwolf looks good.
But also that shot is so awkward.
Yeah.
Like, they're just staring
kind of like looking at him.
Like, something like that. Because when I saw that shot, I was like, are they going for like a Last Crusade? Like, the knight looking at Sean Connery before they leave? It got that kind of vibe, but it was, like, so undeserved. Mm-hmm. Like, they had never met previously or had anything to do with one another, really. Darkseid was just kind of like, you won.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Like, what?
This is kind of a change of subject.
Okay.
But I thought of it because I was thinking of that scene. And I want to talk about some of the inconsistencies with the wider DC universe. Of course they exist because the DC universe is a disaster. But they exist within the stuff that Snyder had a hand in, which is strange. The Aquaman stuff, almost none of it lines up or makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he was raised by his father. Yeah. In Aquaman, the 2018 movie...
it doesn't even match up with the same
His
universe.
whole life he lives with his father in the lighthouse. And then in this one, he lives in like Scandinavia and he decides to go see his father at the end.
Yeah.
Mera is British in this and doesn't have red hair.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't line up. It doesn't make any sense. And then on top of that, Wonder Woman. This Wonder Woman in this universe would not brutally chop the head off of a man. Like, she's like cheering. Like, think of Wonder Woman 1984.
Wait, does that happen?
She chopped Steppenwolf's head off.
No shit.
Yeah, that's how they beat Steppenwolf.
Huh.
And then Darkseid steps on it.
Oh, that's right.
But
that was good.
Wonder Woman is like happy and helpful, and she's like Superman if Superman was characterized correctly. But then in this movie, she's chopping heads off of people, and she like
Wonder Woman 1984. I have to apologize for that. Like, that is a work of art compared to this.
That's true. It's so much better. I didn't want to kill myself when I was watching it.
No, it was fine. It had good parts. Chris Pine was cool.
Chris Pine was great. Yeah.
I genuinely like. I enjoyed the love plot in that one.
Yeah, and same with the first one.
And him like, and him like turning into the stranger when he's saying goodbye.
There were a lot of things that were well executed in that movie, and it didn't look like shit.
No, and Gal Gadot like had a performance in that one.
She had an arc.
But she also like acted well.
Yeah, she cried. She was
she's a good crier.
Charismatic.
Actually,
yeah. And she like elevated the movie, and the villain had a character, which I guess this movie does too. But
yeah, I enjoyed.
That's the one really positive of this entire movie is Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
everything about him.
He looks cooler too.
He looks great, and he looks.
God, when Superman awesome. Like lasers off his horn, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you're looking for from a Superman.
Sure. It's not really. But it's cool.
I mean, at this point, you can't really get mad that Superman is violent.
Yeah.
Because he has been violent.
Well, that comes at, like, the 3 hour and 50-minute mark. And at that point, you're just kind of like, sure. It looks cool. Why not?
Yeah.
At that point, you're not even worried about Superman being comically accurate. Comic accurate.
Yeah.
Not comically accurate. Fuck that up. Fuck everything up.
Well, we really got off from my notes, but that's fine.
Okay.
It's been a fun discussion. That ending sequence is terrible. We already kind of talked about it. The Jared Leto's awful. I like the Lex Luthor and Deathstroke stuff. I think that was a fun setup for what they were going to do with the Justice League sequel, which was now that they've destroyed a space tyrant who is going to demolish the universe as we know it, they're going to fight Lex Luthor. That was the sequel idea. And I don't know, but neat.
I didn't give a shit.
It was the end credit scene of the theatrical cut.
Perfect.
Exactly. In this, it's like scene number 8,000.
Well, that's the thing. What's that guy you watch? Adam Does Movies?
Yeah.
Like, he said, like, if you put these as after credit scenes, that's great, because I would never make it to them.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't
That's
watch
perfect, because I wouldn't have stuck around. I really wouldn't have.
I would have.
Yeah, because
I care.
Suck.
That's the thing. I think people, like, I hate this movie. I hate Aquaman. I haven't loved a DC movie in almost a decade now. Since Dark Knight Rises. That was the last, like, great DC movie. Batman v Superman I liked a lot at the time, but in hindsight, it's very, like, mixed bag.
Yeah.
I still like aspects of it quite a bit. It's one of the better ones as far as I'm concerned.
But is it that hard
to
be the best?
Its competition is like Aquaman and like some of the better Shazam is decent, but it's pretty forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, Batman v Superman is good, and the theatrical cut of Justice League is. I mean, I don't want to call it the best because it's fine.
It's whatever.
It's very watchable.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, I liked it more the second time.
Really?
I watched it on a plane, and I was like, wow. I forgot that Wonder Woman had, like, a really great character arc and was, like, an interesting character in this movie.
They did try to have the scene between Cyborg and Wonder Woman, which I didn't completely hate, where Wonder Woman was like, I've lost someone, too.
Oh, yeah.
It can be kind of tough.
That's another comparison I thought of. Well, first off, the comparison in that scene between, in the Joss Whedon cut, Cyborg walks out in like a hoodie, hiding himself from the world because that's his character. But in the Zack Snyder cut, he just flies, he rockets through the city to meet Wonder Woman for some reason.
Yeah.
The antithesis of his character.
Mm-hmm. Which is strange because they even set him up in the Zack Snyder cut as
wearing a hoodie, like hidden in his house, but then he rockets through the city. But then the graveyard scene, which in the Joss Whedon cut was a nice build up for these two kind of ancillary members of the Justice League, Flash and Cyborg, who weren't the main characters because just like in Avengers, you don't want it to be focused on Hawkeye and Hulk and like have Captain America and Iron Man just kind of like doing nothing the whole time.
Yeah.
You want the Justice League movie to focus on Batman and Wonder Woman. And the Joss Whedon cut does that. But there's this nice graveyard scene where Flash and Cyborg have a heart-to-heart about being like accidents and freaks and feeling like they don't belong in the world because they can't like relate to people and they don't understand people and they, you know, have these terrible accidents happen to them. And in the Zack Snyder cut, Flash says, "Do you think Wonder Woman would date me?" And Cyborg says, "She's really old." And then they cut to another scene.
That did happen.
It's true. That's not even an understatement. Those are the only two lines.
That is real. That's a real scene in the film.
And it's so like I feel like I'm on Bizarro Land because I have so many examples of why this movie sucks and why it sucks in comparison to the Joss Whedon cut.
Yeah.
And yet everyone is agreeing that it's significantly better than the Joss Whedon cut.
I just don't get it.
It makes no sense to me. One critic I read that gave it I think like a 1-star review or a half-star review or something like that, said that it is unendurable. And that is what I would describe it as.
Yeah, I saw that.
If I wasn't making myself watch it to do like, because I'm a DC fan and because I want, and we were going to do a podcast on it, I wouldn't have made it through. Any other movie that didn't have the DC brand on it that was of this quality, I would not watch it for 4 hours. You just don't. It's so painful. It's not funny bad.
No.
It was not entertaining. It felt twice its length, and its actual length was 4 hours. Usually when you say a movie feels twice its length, it feels 4 hours. This felt like 8 hours.
Yeah.
It felt like
Quick
my
math.
life was gone after this. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It almost like ruined my day.
I was just like, I was sad that like I didn't do more with my Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, I was really actually pretty upset about that one.
Sorry.
I've been too far away from my microphone. Sorry.
I guess you didn't. I wanted you to prepare a DCEU ranking.
No.
But you didn't do that. I said, please, in my message to you. I capitalized. I went, please
I was
make
busy
a DCEU
this week.
ranking.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Would you recommend Zack Snyder's Justice League?
No.
Me neither. I think it's the worst DCEU movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so muddled.
I didn't think it would be worse than Aquaman.
And just kind of like gross. So like it like I've had a hard time like trying to make myself like think about it like this much because I just like I don't want to give the movie any more of my energy. That's really it doesn't deserve my energy.
It doesn't deserve my energy either. It's just all over my social media
everywhere.
feed. So I can't escape it because I follow like DC fan accounts and stuff, not shitty ones, like just meme accounts. As soon as they start posting reviews and shit, I want to kill myself because they're so bad at explaining their points. All of them. I'm so ashamed to be a DC fan. I just like DC comics.
Yeah.
Like, and every DC fan is so
I did
stupid.
come across a post, and it gave me a little bit of hope, where this guy had like given his review of Zack Snyder's Justice League and like talked the whole time about how it's so much better than Endgame and all that, and the comments were just like, "You're so dumb. Like they're not even comparable." And like you guys are like so like salty about this like non-existent war between the two, and like just shut the fuck up. And I was like, there's hope. There's like people who like get it. That did make me a bit happy.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, every once in a while you'll come across one of those that's like, oh, not everyone on Earth is completely stupid.
And everyone was agreeing in the comments.
That, like Endgame was significantly better. Yeah. Because it is. Endgame's phenomenal.
Even, like, DC fans. Like, DC fan accounts were like, yeah. Like...
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
What are you looking up on your computer there?
I was looking at the DC EU movies.
Oh, did you want to do a ranking?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen a lot of them.
You've seen a decent amount. We were talking about it the other day. The only one you haven't seen Wonder Woman.
Or Shazam.
Or Shazam. But I think that's it.
Yeah. But I don't feel like it.
No, it's fine. In the middle section, it gets a little muddy anyway. Like, I don't know where Birds of Prey falls. I barely know what I thought of Birds of Prey.
I like Birds of Prey. It was good.
I thought it was a real mixed bag. What we've been enjoying. We've come to that segment.
It's the segment that everyone looks forward to. What have we been up to?
Yeah.
What have we been enjoying?
Try to keep it positive.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, the main segment, we get negative or we give our hot takes. Maybe we'll be positive on some of them.
Sure.
We plan the podcast, you know, what it's going to be about before we see the thing. And we like to give good, like, real chances to these movies.
Yeah.
So, you know,
as much as we've hated on Zack Snyder's Justice League, neither of us went in, like, with a bias, really.
No, I really tried hard not to.
Yeah.
I really was, like, I was feeling almost optimistic about it, given how good the reviews were. I mean, the Red Letter Media review hadn't come out yet. If I had seen that fucking Red Letter Media review before the movie came out, I would have been like, holy shit, this is going to be great. I can't believe the Red Letter Media guys saw it, or liked this.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, anyway, I lost so much respect for them just from that one video. So sad. But anyway, now that we're talking about positive things, let's talk about positive things. I've got 6 things written down.
Start us off.
Okay. Well, I think the thing that everybody wants, I mean, not everybody, but a decent amount of people want to hear about is the premiere of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, you didn't, but I did.
I knew I had called it that Sebastian Stan would be a completely different written character and be a lot funnier and entertaining. Just because of the chemistry that Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan have in real life and, like, in interviews, there's no way they were going to do a show where, like, Sebastian Stan didn't, like...
Was just grumpy the whole time?
Yeah, so I saw that coming, and...
He's great. Right. The first half of the episode is much better than the second half. The first half is, like... It opens with Falcon, like, getting ready to go to something, and he's got the shield... And he, like, puts it away. It's, like, this really artsy thing. And then they do a Falcon action sequence. And they do the jump out of the plane, like, say something witty, jump out of the plane thing. And they're like, be covert. And he's like, I'll be covert. And then he jumps out of the plane. Which they do in every Marvel movie. Black Panther did it, I think, and Iron Man 2. And anyway. And I was thinking, the most subversive thing they could do is for him to actually be covert and do the mission like the way he's supposed to. Because every single one is like, I'll do that, and then they jump out and they do something crazy and Back in black! Yeah, and like improvisational. But Falcon's like a soldier. I was thinking maybe he'd really go covert. And at first he kind of was, but then... Anyway, they do this whole Falcon scene, and it doesn't make any sense, because the villains have, like, these... They don't, like, have parachutes in, like, regular... They have these, like... You know, like, the squirrel-winged flight suits that people wear?
Yeah.
They all have those.
Nice.
For no reason.
That's dope.
Except for they need a Falcon action sequence. And so they all jump out of the plane wearing
like
those.
Like Deadpool 2.
Yeah. And he flies around chasing them and missiles tracking him, and he flies the missiles into a helicopter. And there's a great bit where, because he's trying to save, like, a kidnapped guy from these rebels or something, and he... missiles following him, and he goes through... You know how the helicopter has, like, the big open panel? He goes through the big open panel and catches the guy, and then a missile hits the helicopter.
I was literally Like, just thinking about how cool it would be if they went through the middle, like, he went through the middle panel.
Yeah, it was dope.
I like, wow, okay, I should write for Marvel.
You should. They do pretty, generic things.
Yeah.
No, but it was good, and there's some new guy who's, like, a young guy. Yeah, he reminded me of Ty Sheridan, the guy who plays Cyclops in the prequels.
Ty Sheridan's...
Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's my guy. Yeah,
You know who I'm talking about? And Ready Player One.
Yeah.
He reminded me of him.
Ty Sheridan?
He was like him meets Miles Teller. Anyway, so he's there, but then the whole first chunk is Falcon, and then they go to Bucky for like a long time, which I don't know if that's the best way to structure it, but they go to Bucky for a long time, and he like
it's
goes
fine
on a
for
date.
a first episode.
Sure, he goes on a date with this woman, and he's like, I tried Tinder, but I couldn't tell what was on the screen, and she's like, you sound like my dad. How old are you? And he's like 106. And it's deadpanned, but it's deadpanned in like a very specific way. It's one of my favorite line readings. It's so great. I loved it. And I thought he was really charming and likable. Yeah. He's like, helping an old Asian man. He like helps him around and goes to lunch with him every day.
Huh.
And his first scene, like this old Asian man is like quarreling with this guy about his trash, and then Bucky steps in and is like, you think he's gonna like beat up this guy, or this guy's gonna start like beating up the old man, and Bucky's gonna save him, but he just kind of like steps in. He's like, hi, I'm Bucky Barnes, what's going on? And he shakes hands with the guy, and he's like, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, don't worry. Just let him put the trash in your trash. He like says that to the Asian guy, and then he just like walks the Asian guy away, and the Asian guy's like ranting. He's like, just shut up. And it's like, oh, good. And it's like, they really put a focus on, because there's like a therapy scene that's terrible. They put a focus on him putting an end to the Winter Soldier stuff and becoming like a normal American citizen and like living his life.
Yeah. And
then the Falcon arc is all about the shield and the symbol of the shield and all of that. But then he's also like, his sister owns a boat. And that's like
very cool.
That's like a whole plot, and it's not very interesting. So
well,
it's a mixed bag.
I'm glad you like it.
I like certain things about it pretty well. I like it. After WandaVision, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to like it too much.
Yeah.
But it's not like setting up mysteries in the way that WandaVision did.
Yeah.
Where like it can just fall on its face later on. This is just like the first act of a movie.
Mephisto is going to be in it. Because there was the writer was like, I have no fuck clue who Mephisto is. That's the greatest.
That is the greatest. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked it. I'll do a full review when the whole season's out.
Nice.
But follow my Instagram.
Yeah, we'll plug at the end. What's next, Vin?
You don't have anything? Do you want to talk about something?
I mean, I can. I've been playing more Minecraft. I have this wheat farm, and it's really big, and I make a lot of wheat, and I fucking sell that shit like a motherfucker, dude.
We're swearing a lot.
Me and my friend Nick, we got a good system going where I supply him with wheat, and he trades it with villagers for emeralds, and then trades the emeralds for like enchantments and shit like that. It's a really solid system. We're looking for some investors right now in the business. The other people I play with, one of them said that she will become an investor after she finishes building her island. So I'm like, pretty Chad. It's time to get some more people on board and really expand this thing. I'm thinking about opening a second location just because our current plant is just a bit too small, and I can't keep building there because then I'll be entering it into Nick's fortress, which would be a no-go, of course.
Of course.
But I'm having a really good time.
And this is, for all intent, I know it's a realm or whatever, but it's survival.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All survival.
That's impressive.
Thank you, man.
I can't do that.
Oh my god, if you just saw the shit Nick builds,
I know,
bro,
you tell me that he's very good.
Bro, it's fucking crazy. He's so good. I'm like, can you break down like 30 of my gates, please? And he's like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, what? And I look, and all of them are gone, and he's got like the greatest pickaxe on planet Earth. He's like, yeah, it was really easy. It makes me so pissed off. Because before I started playing, I thought I was really good at Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever, you know? And he's like, he has like all the top enchantments. It's fucking bullshit. I hate him. But thank you, Nick. You're awesome. And I appreciate you investing in my wheat Minecraft business. That's something I've been up to.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, you can go.
That's very cool. I didn't mean that to be a, are you done talking now? I meant it more as just like
You're an asshole.
Is it actually? Anyway. Today I finished everyone's most anticipated game, the future imperfect expansion of the Avengers video game.
Let's stop.
Which brings Hawkeye to the game. I'm just going to talk about it briefly.
Very briefly.
It's not great.
I
know it's like what we've been enjoying, but it's new. I wanted to mention it. It's not great. It feels like a game made by very tired people. It really does. Like the new environment is just like brown desert. It's nothing interesting is happening. You look at like the first big expansion they did, and they did like the Pacific Northwest base, and it's like this really cool base, and like Kate Bishop is a really neat and different character, and Hawkeye is just copy paste.
I bet it's hard to like keep the morale up after like your game has failed already.
Yeah, there's no coming back.
Like that's one of the biggest failures in like gaming history. It must be.
It's probably up there.
There was so much hype around it, and like immediately it failed and had.
I wouldn't even say there was so much hype around it. People from the first trailer, people hated the designs of the characters. Like bad.
Really?
And they changed them. It was like a Sonic situation. Huh. Like Black Widow got criticized and Captain America got criticized. And then they released the game and everyone disliked it. And they were just like, okay, and they lost $600 million or something.
God.
And that's it. Like it failed so hard, and nobody cared. They were like, first DLC character. This was a big mistake. First DLC character, Kate Bishop. And it's like nobody wants that. Why not put Hawkeye first? Why not put they just released the trailer for Black Panther. Black Panther is coming to the game next.
Interesting.
Dated summer and beyond. So.
Oh, okay. So it won't be here for a while.
We were supposed to get one like every month, I think was the initial promise. The game came out in September. The first DLC character came out in December. The second one came out in March. And now the next one is Summer and Beyond. And it's the last thing listed on Summer and Beyond. So it's like...
We don't know.
And where's Spider-Man? Spider-Man was supposed to come out for PlayStation consoles as a PlayStation exclusive in spring 2021. It's the end of March.
That's pretty
Hawkeye
fucking
just
bad.
came out. Where's Spider-Man?
Soon. Spring ain't over, my guy.
I know it's not over, but we don't have a trailer yet.
We got April.
We got a trailer for Summer and Beyond.
That's a concern.
But not for Spider-Man. Where is he?
I'm about to die if we don't move on. I hate talking about this game.
It's not great. It's just
so
it was underwhelming because I love Hawkeye. I was very excited for Hawkeye to come to the game, and he is just Kate Bishop copy and pasted. Yeah. And they gave him a sword. Why? And he's not funny. The writing in the base game. I know. I'm sorry.
I need to stop.
But the writing in the base game, is decent, and it's being delivered by Nolan North and Troy Baker. Nolan North plays Iron Man, and Troy Baker plays Hulk, and they're kind of the main characters of the campaign besides Ms. Marvel. But they're great characters, and they're great actors. They're like two of the best actors working in the games industry right now. Nolan North is like the guy from Uncharted. He's Nathan Drake. And Troy Baker, what would you know Troy Baker from? I don't know.
Who gives a fuck? Keep going, bro. God damn.
Anyway, but now that they're kind of out of the spotlight, the game sucks, and the writing's bad, and this is what I've been enjoying. I also spent $30 to get Hawkeye a good skin, and I didn't get it.
No. Wait, what?
I got a mediocre skin. And if I play the game for like 3 more weeks, I might get the skin I want.
Wow.
That's it.
Alright.
Because I had to get to level 39 to get it.
It's okay.
Anyway. What have you been doing?
I've been watching some Star Trek: The Next Generation while building some new Minecraft Lego sets. And I gotta say, man, that line of Lego Minecraft is so fun. They're small builds. I understand you're not a fan of the small builds.
Yeah.
But they're like the only like fairly priced sets nowadays that can be found. Like $15.99 for that small one.
For the B one?
For the B one.
For real?
$15.
Oh, that's not bad.
Right?
That's
you know what I'm saying? And there's like functions and the trees open up and there are bees inside of it. It was fun to build. There's the minifigures are really cool.
Yeah.
I built 3 of them and it's a really fun line and I want to get like one sort of bigger one just to like end off the collection.
I was picturing like 30 to 40.
No.
15 is
crazy. Isn't that like kind of crazy?
Jesus.
And they're so fun to build. I love that nether the nether one.
Yeah, the nether one is neat.
It's
How
really
much was
cool. That one was $30.
Okay.
I know.
That's more what I would expect.
That one was about like 300, 400 pieces though.
Yeah, I mean it's slightly bigger looking.
Yeah.
But it's not,
I do like that one a lot. The blaze movement.
Yeah.
All of them have cool movements. I really enjoy it. But I've been watching Star Trek while I've been building them, as kind of like a way to just end my night, try to clear my mind and
Why?
I'm so sorry.
How far are you into Star Trek?
Not very.
Like where?
Like midway season 2. I thought I was further along, but I'm really not.
Okay.
But I'm having a fucking blast.
Yeah,
bro.
you're enjoying it.
This show is so good. Like I'm like making a list of like exceptional Star Trek: The Next Generation episodes, like next level ones, which I feel are very good. And Red Letter Media had released that video of season 1 episodes, and I was like, I don't remember like what I put on my list when I was watching them. So here are my season 1 ones. The 11001001 was on my exceptional list and showed up on the Red Letter Media video. Coming of Age, which didn't show up on Red Letter Media's, and The Arsenal of Freedom, which also didn't, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like I recognize the title. What is that one about? You don't remember?
I don't remember. But it was exceptional.
Hold on, let me Google it. Keep talking.
And then season 2, I had been watching some episodes, and Unnatural Selection was the one that I had watched last night. And that shit is fucking awesome, bro. What a great fucking Picard episode.
What's that episode titled?
The Arsenal of Freedom.
Arsenal of Freedom, there it is.
But Unnatural Selection was like a really, like, there haven't been too many Picard episodes. There's been a lot of Data-focused episodes in season 2, where, like, Data tries to become a comedian, and Data gets taken over by, a crazy scientist dude, Dr. Gray, I think his name was. But we hadn't had a good Picard episode, and Unnatural Selection was just, like, Picard making quick decisions and having, like, just the strongest of moral codes.
Sorry.
Continue.
Sorry.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the Arsenal of Freedom the one where Geordi is put in charge of the
That's
Enterprise?
what it is.
That was on their list.
That was on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that episode. That's a great Geordi episode. And just how he leads that crew. Now that I remember. Yeah. That one's so solid. I don't remember what Coming of Age was. So.
Is that the Wesley Crusher one?
I don't know.
Here, let me see.
It's been a while. I've been taking it slow. They are long. They're long episodes.
Coming of Age.
Season 1, episode 18.
18?
Mm-hmm.
It's 19 on Wikipedia.
Interesting. Go off of Netflix.
Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Greatest Run Admiral Gregory Quinn. Were the Enterprise.
Oh, yeah. He, ages super crazy, right? Is it that one?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
It was great though.
In detail.
I really like Star Trek, and I've been picking up that Star Trek timeline or timelines game again.
Oh yeah,
and that's really fun.
The iOS.
I really enjoy that game. Oh, and I also played Star Trek VR.
Right.
Which is Chad as fuck. No, there's not really a story. I mean, you just go on quests, which I've been doing some of. The problem is it kind of just takes a bit to set up and get in the mood for a VR thing. So you don't do it as often.
Right.
But I really do enjoy that Star Trek VR game. It's very beautiful. So I've been just doing Star Trek shit and Minecraft shit. And it's been
very cool.
It's been very fun.
Yeah. I've been doing a pretty exciting thing. I don't know if you know this. I purchased for $60 US.
I know.
In NBA.
I know.
Team Pass.
Yeah. What is that?
To watch. It is the NBA, because we don't have cable anymore. We don't have any way to really watch sports. And I've been getting into basketball through NBA 2K21.
Rashawn Holmes,
indeed.
My favorite player.
He's not on my team. I'm a Celtics fan. I like the Celtics.
You need Rashawn on there.
I mean, in real life. The team that I root for.
Okay. Life. But you should get Rashawn on your NBA team in the game. Because that would be amazing.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Anyway, I purchased the Team Pass for $60. It's an annual thing. It allows me to watch every Celtics game for the next year.
That doesn't seem like it's worth it, if I'm being honest.
It's overpriced.
Yeah.
They're all overpriced. But it's better than the monthly fee. The monthly fee is almost $20 a month.
For premium access to everything?
To just Celtics games.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
But what about, just games?
To watch all games, $120 a year.
That's so much more worth it, though.
But I don't want to watch every game. I don't care.
I know, but
I want to watch Celtics.
Yeah, I guess.
Because I don't have the time to watch every game. They're so long. I've barely been able to watch the Celtics games. I watched the first Celtics game of the season, which happened a couple days before Christmas. They played the Bucks, and they beat their asses. It was so cool.
Yeah?
It was so cool.
How was my boy Giannis?
Giannis was good. He did a good job. Good. But the Celtics were too OP for them. I think Tatum or somebody like that made a last minute 3 or something. Ooh. It's been a couple days.
Tatum's got a nasty
super
3,
cool.
bro.
It was super cool. And then last night they played the Grizzlies and they lost because Tatum has an illness.
Ooh.
So he's out of commission. And
for how long?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But Kemba Walker is their point guard. He, since the beginning of the season, has had an injury, and now he plays sometimes, but he doesn't play the second night of back-to-backs, which the Grizzlies game was, apparently.
Oh, interesting.
So, I think he'll be playing, because they're going to play the Bucks tomorrow night. So I think he's going to play the Bucks.
Misa like the Bucks.
That'll be good. Missing Jason Tatum is a big problem.
Yeah.
But if they have Kemba and they have Jaylen Brown, he's shooting
good.
Guard. He's great.
Yeah.
He really was leading them last night against the Grizzlies. He got them into overtime. Not by himself, but the game went into overtime.
Really?
And
so it must have been close.
It was close until overtime, and then the Grizzlies just kind of demolished them. Yeah. The Celtics had a big lead for the first half or so, and then the Grizzlies made a big comeback in the third quarter, and there was kind of a fight in the fourth. and then it went into overtime, and the Grizzlies dominated them. But they had Ja Morant in, they had Kyle Anderson, they had their people. The Grizzlies aren't gonna, they're not the best team in the whole world. It was the first time the Grizzlies have beaten the Celtics in 5 years. So it was pretty sad. But the Celtics were missing two of their main three. So it's like... But I've been getting to know some of the like other Celtics team members.
That's good.
I like Jeff Teague quite a bit. I guess he used to play on the Hawks, is what I've gotten from the commentators. And he's not as good on the Celtics, but he is good. He's like a backup point guard. And Marcus Smart is still hanging around.
Hey!
He seems very old. He seems like he doesn't need to be playing basketball anymore. He's not winning very much. According to 2K, he has like one of the...
Yeah, he's got
like a record 3-point count, like top 10 highest 3-point games in
history,
in Celtics history, and it's like he can't make a 3-pointer to save his life now. I feel bad watching him because I'm like, he used to be good, I assume, but he's not really there. And he was in the first game of the season, which was also against I said that it was against the Bucks, sorry, but in the first game of the season he was their point guard in place of Kemba, and now in last night's game he was their small forward in place of Tatum. And he is a shooting guard. Yeah. So not the best move, but
Dang.
I also like Peyton Pritchard. He makes some good threes sometimes. He's a rookie this year. He made a couple good threes. But that's
I like
something
Milwaukee.
I've been up to. Milwaukee? Is that your favorite team?
I think it's a cool looking symbol, and they got Giannis, who can,
the Bucks is cool, and
who can
Giannis
dunk
is
like
awesome.
a motherfucker. At least in the game.
Yeah, he's good. He's more well rounded in real life.
Yeah.
From the game I watched
That's
of
good.
him, he does threes and he does jump shots and he does things like that. But he barely did any like rushing and dunks. But that's how you like to play the game.
That's how
like my guys. I'm like, if you can't make a three, you're out of there. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
Except Russell Westbrook, who I love. Dunks.
He's a fucking madman.
He's so fast, and he dunks, and it's so awesome every time. That dude just racks up points. If you give the ball to him, which I do now, he just racks up points. There's no stopping him. Because in 2K, you don't have to share the ball. It's like not an important part of the sport. Oh my god, it's frustrating to watch. Even the commentators are like, the Celtics really like passing the ball around quite a bit. Like, they just kind of like pass it to the point where like they barely have enough time to shoot the ball. Yeah. It's very strange. Jaylen Brown needs to go in more. They all need to go in more, and they need to take more threes. Sometimes they'll have open threes and they don't do anything with them. It's weird. Anyway, those are my initial impressions on basketball.
Thank you.
I hope to get more knowledge on it going forward. But yeah. Anything else from you?
I got nothing, bro.
I think we can call it there.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, this has been long.
This has been almost, like, literally the exact same time as the other one, basically. Which is good. Keeping it consistent.
Keeping it consistent.
Keeping
it real. Those are our thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League and some other things that we've been enjoying. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this.
Yeah, thank you.
This audio recording.
I just had to. Alright, I'm gonna hang myself. Thank you guys for listening.
Yes, indeed.
Make sure to follow us at Captain Films IG on Instagram and Twitter. That is CaptainFilmsIG. Fuck. And then follow Finn.
I'm Lolyeet Film on Instagram. LOLYEETFILM on Instagram.
Alright.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next video, movie, or podcast any type of visual medium.
When is the movie gonna go up?
Supposed to go on tomorrow. The thing is, I tried uploading it, and because we used some footage from BBC that maybe we didn't get, like, with permission, you know. Which isn't really an issue because we're not profiting off of it. I have to put in a claim to try and fight the copyright. Because I'm using their BBC footage, it is blocked in all countries.
Wow.
Worldwide, it says.
Wow.
So I have to put in a claim, and we'll see what happens. If not, I'm gonna have to, like, put a link video to, like, Google Drive. Because, like, I can't take that scene out. It's a pretty, like, important... It's the launch. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So, we'll see what happens with that. But it should be tomorrow or today if you're watching the podcast the first day it comes out. If I release this podcast on Wednesday. There's a lot going on.
You should do the podcast on Wednesday because it has to be timely.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, we just got a lot going on.
The video
into
Thursday if you need.
Is the only thing.
Yeah.
But it'll work.
Yeah,
it'll be great.
Make it work. I mean, the podcast went up on Wednesday in massive air quotes last week, as in at like 12:50 on Thursday.
Yeah.
But you know,
we're good.
It was Wednesday night. It's a late thing, and then, you know, so it'll be about a week after Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out.
Perfect.
Plenty of time for people to watch it, so we can spoil the shit out of it and make them feel bad for enjoying the film. Thank you guys for listening.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, everybody. Do I click?
Yep.